What's happening, everybody? All right, today we're going to go over a little product overview here of Doc's VWAP. This is the very best VWAP tool that you can get for NinjaTrader. It's got functionality galore. If you're a VWAP trader already, this is going to make your life so much easier. And if you're not a VWAP trader yet, I definitely recommend taking a look at what it offers. It is one of the core foundations of our market regime framework methodology that we are going to be going forward with here in 2026. The idea here is that I hear the same complaints everywhere. We make a lot of different styles of trading indicators. And I hear people say it worked great for me this day and that day, and then I lost on this day. And you just hear that all around the internet. And we have come to figure out that everybody is looking for an absolute. Everybody is looking for one set of rules that they can trade every single day. And it just doesn't work that way. The market gives you a completely different personality day to day. The rules of your strategy need to be aligned with what's happening that particular day in the environment that you are actually trading in. Otherwise, you're blindly going to hit some days and blindly going to miss some days. But I'm not here to talk to you about the market regime framework today. We're just going to spend some time here and look over this VWAP tool. I know there's a lot of VWAP traders that already have a methodology that just need this tool. So starting off here, what you're looking at is this is a chart of micro gold, and we are looking at the daily session VWAP on this. So if I go back here a little bit, this VWAP is anchored to market open, the Globex open from the prior day. That's your standard session VWAP. In this VWAP, we have got the actual volume weighted average price, which is this thicker dark blue line. And on each side of that VWAP, we have our standard deviation bands. This is all pretty standard in most VWAPs, but that's not what sets ours apart. So let's just start going over some of the functionality here that sets ours apart. So very first thing that we can look at is you'll notice as we come outside of the first standard deviation, the color of our bars changes. The way I have this set up is they are gray when we're within the first standard deviation. When we're above the first standard deviation of the daily, they turn green. You'll also notice that there are some red bars up here. So I have this set so that when we close outside of the third standard deviation, they turn red, alerting me that we're getting ready for a possible reversal to at least the second standard deviation here. That is a pretty good probability that we get back to that second standard deviation once we have exceeded the third standard deviation. So I can see that when we pop outside of this first standard deviation, my bars are green. It's reminding me that I should be looking for longs only. And as we pop outside of the third standard deviation, they turn red, reminding me that it's possible that it may be a time for a reversal coming up here. So the way that this is coded is you can set a color of bars between each of these standard deviations. So if you have a particular idea in mind and you want to color your bars in 4 different colors as it progresses through the standard deviations, you can do that. I tend to keep it simple here. And the same thing goes for our downside. So when we come outside of the first standard deviation here, this bar turns red. If we were to exceed the third standard deviation, it would turn green and show me that a possible reversal is imminent. So that is the first piece of functionality here with Duck's VWAP. The next thing that I'm going to show you here is this bank of buttons that sits across the top of our screen. Right now, we are looking at the daily VWAP. At any given time, Now that, like I said earlier, that daily VWAP anchors to the session open the prior day. At any given time, I can change that daily VWAP to the regular trading hours VWAP, the RTH VWAP. And I can do that on the fly. So the regular trading hours is when the market opens for the New York session in the morning. We're looking at gold. That time is 8:20 a.m. If you were on one of the indices, EQ, NQ, ES, you're going to be looking at 9:30 as the opening time. So when I hit that RTH button, you'll see that the VWAP changes its anchor to 8:20 a.m. For the RTH session. And one of the things about VWAP is we know that the big players use it. But we don't know which big players are in the market that day. So some people use the RTH VWAP and some people use the session VWAP. And sometimes both of them work interchangeably. So what you can do is you can swap between the two VWAPs, RTH and daily, with this and kind of take a look at which one price is reacting to and respecting the most, and kind of get a different view of what's going on and which one you should be trading that day. Another thing is the RTH VWAP takes a little bit of time to develop here. So for the first half an hour of the trading session, if you're trading the open, we've got it set up so that you can use the session VWAP as the market opens. And then as the day progresses, you have the option to switch into the RTH VWAP and see which one it's following. So that is a cool feature, not found anywhere else. It's very ergonomic. You can switch it on the dime, and you can see both sides of the story here. The next thing, we have weekly and monthly VWAPs also tied in to those buttons. So let me make my screen a little smaller here. So I can turn on my weekly VWAPs, and that's these three yellow lines that pop up here. The middle line is your VWAP. The upper line is your standard deviation 1 high and your standard deviation 1 low. So I can see when we are positive, when we're bullish for the week, and I can relate that to whether we are bullish on the day. And I can use both of these to decide what the current state of the market is and how I should be trading. If I turn off the daily here, we can look at just the weekly alone. And as you can see here, we come back down into our weekly VWAP and we have some reactions right at the weekly VWAP. I can turn back on my daily, and the weekly VWAP kind of, somewhat correlates to the daily VWAP at this time. So anyways, it lets you know where you stand in terms of the week and where you stand in terms of the day as far as average price goes. And we also have a monthly option on here, which is these orange lines. Now, the month has been going for a little while here, so this middle orange line is our monthly VWAP, and that is our monthly standard deviation high and our monthly standard deviation low. So what can I see here right now? I can see if I'm looking at current price down here, I can see we are above average price on the monthly VWAP. So we're bullish for the month right now. We have just become bullish on the week. We have popped outside of that first standard deviation on the week, and we are just about to become even more bullish here on the day. So that gives us a nice picture that we should probably be looking for longs today. And we also have a 21 moving average on here just to kind of give us our short-term momentum. And when we're bullish in all three scenarios here, it's a perfect time to start taking our continuation trades off that 20 moving average. So that is what the market regime framework is all about. It's all about knowing what price is doing and how you should be trading. Whenever we are within the first standard deviation, we are rotational. And you can see that here very clearly. We're totally rotational. We should not be trying to trend trade in a rotating market. We should be trading the edges of the range towards VWAP. Okay. And as we come outside of that first standard deviation, as you see back here, we are now in a trending market and we should be looking for continuation trades in that trend. So if you ever ask yourself why you piled up like 3 or 4 different indicators that you saw on YouTube, you got an RSI, you got a moving average, you've got a MFI, and you got something else, and they're not working for you on Tuesday, and then they do work for you on Wednesday. This is the reason. The reason is because you're in a different market regime on one day from the next. You should have two trading styles. You should know how to trade ranges and you should know how to trade trends. And if you can identify what type of day you are in, your trading is going to become much, much easier. Okay, so there is our 3 different VWAP settings with our RTH modifier that allows us to switch between RTH and our daily VWAP. And we can see prices position to all of these different indicators in this status panel in our top right corner. I can see that right at this moment, we're bullish on the day, we're bullish on the week, we're bullish on the month, but we're still neutral on our opening range or initial balance, which brings us to that. These black lines that you see right here, horizontal lines, those are our initial balance or an opening range, whichever you decide to pick. You can choose a 15-minute opening range, a 5-minute opening range, or the 1 hour initial balance. They expand during the time that they're set for whatever you have it set to until that time frame finalizes and then they lock in. There is a midline point here, this dotted line. So in this case, I have the first hour of gold's trading session. And so this dotted line is our initial balance mid and our initial balance high and low. You can see up here in our status window that it is neutral, and that is because we're still inside of that initial balance. Once we pop out the top of that initial balance, this will turn to bullish. If we were to pop out the bottom of that initial balance, the ORIB portion of our status panel would be turned to bearish. So you can kind of see when things are conflicting with each other and when things are getting fuzzy, and it can kind of let you know, hey, maybe I need to sit out until we start aligning here a little bit, till some of our daily, weekly, and monthly VWAPs start aligning, or at least you have any combination of these that let you see a clear picture here. Okay, so that is the 3 VWAP settings. That's our status panel. And going forward, these little magenta dots, as well as these little cyan dots, that is just an RSI built in that will let you know when price is overbought or oversold. We don't use them for entries. They're just one of those things where I like to know where we stand. I don't have screen real estate to have oscillators, multiple oscillators on my bottom of my screen. I find that these unobtrusive little dots just let me know as we approach VWAP here, hey, RSI is oversold. It's below 20 right now. And as we react to that VWAP and that dot goes away, I know that RSI is just broken out of the oversold zone. So it just kind of gives me a little extra analysis on what's going on without having to compare multiple things visually on separate panels. Okay, so with this tool here, another thing is that every line on this chart can be adjusted to your visual liking, as well as the fills between the lines. You'll have adjustments for color of all the lines. You'll have adjustments for fill color of all the lines. You'll have adjustments for the opacity of that fill. And then you'll have a separate color adjustment for whatever is your outside line here. So I know that when price comes out and breaches this third standard deviation, to the downside, I am looking for a potential reversal to at least the second standard deviation here. And so this green line just reminds me that, hey, we're hitting a possible reversal area down here. So we've also given you four standard deviations if you choose to use them for whatever reason. So it's just a little bit forward thinking. There are times when we do hit the four standard deviation. It is rare, but we do. And you might choose to have those up, especially in super volatile times. So that's the basic functionality of Doc's VWAP here. Like I said, it's robust. It's the best that you can find if you're a VWAP trader in the NinjaTrader ecosystem. It gives you so many options to see things as you wish to see them in any combination of daily, monthly, or weekly VWAP. And right now, I'm going to turn on a second tool that we use with the market regime framework, and that is our tool called Street Sweeper. Give me one sec here. Okay, I had to fast forward a day here so we could find something with a little bit better volume that I could show you this. All right, so you're looking at the same thing right now. You're looking at Doc's VWAP. We're looking at the daily VWAP only. Um, as you can see, we can switch to RTH at will. So this is RTH starting at 8:20 in the morning. And here is our session VWAP that started at Globex Open last night. So there's been a few things added to this chart now. So you're looking at the same thing you were looking at before. But now we have added a few different things. We have a really cool volume profile that shows you the value area low, the point of control, and the value area high. Um, and that volume profile can be viewed in a session format, so the same thing that we're looking at in our VWAP here, or it can be viewed by visible range. If I take that off session with that button right there, now that volume profile is going to show whatever's on the screen. And when we find a particular time frame that we want to look at, we can come up here and hit that button again, and that will lock it into place. And now we can move our screen wherever we want to, and that particular view that we just set up will lock into place. If we want to go back and see our session again, we can just hit that button again. That's what I leave it on most of the time, unless I'm analyzing something in particular. So that is the first function of Street Sweeper that gets added to Doc's VWAP in order to give us our template for the market regime framework. The second thing you'll notice on here is all of our important daily levels. We've got our current high, low, and open marked on our chart. We've got our 2 day back, 3 day back, 4 day back, and 5 day back highs and lows. We've got our overnight session highs and lows. So we've got the London high and low, the Asian session high and low, as well as just our standard overnight high and low, which would be, um, the highest and lowest point between when the market opened yesterday and our regular trading hours today. So all of this is available to you. I have it set so that there are no lines on the chart. I just want the labels. I can kind of tell where the line is. It just keeps the chart a little bit cleaner with all of these other VWAP lines that we have on here. Um, so that's the second part of Street Sweeper. Um, we know that reversals can happen around the prior lows, prior highs. So you always know where those are. You'll be able to use confluences with your different VWAP lines, as well as these shaded zones that you see here. These red shaded zones and these gray shaded zones. Those are imbalances in order flow. And price reacts with them a lot of the time. As you can see here, as this little section came down, it rejected close to VWAP. It went up, left an imbalance. We pulled back to that imbalance and we continued up further. So those imbalance zones are very useful. The last and probably most powerful part of Street Sweeper is our block order bubbles. Now, Most systems have some form of these types of bubbles. And they're generated when one particular player of a particular size enters the market and exceeds a threshold in his number of contracts that we can define. So each instrument will get a different number of contracts in which we feel that this is a big player. So what this is trying to do here is we're trying to use these as extra confluence around areas that we were already considering of trading. So let's look right back here. Right here, we have the market cruising upwards and it pulls back to our 20 moving average. As it pulls it back to the 20 moving average, we get a big player jump in the market with a buy order here. And price moves in the direction of that buy order. All right. And so that right there is aggressive buying, and he used market orders to purchase those. So we could take a long here, bouncing off of our 20 moving average if we so desired. Um, Let's find some other areas that show absorption here. So that's aggressive buying. Here's another area of aggressive buying. We came down and we tagged that VWAP perfectly. And as we came up, we had multiple big buyers jump in there with their buy orders. And as price moved in the direction of this particular signal, which is a green signal for aggressive buying, we could get on the train with those bigger buyers and take that back up. If you look up top here, you have another green bubble, but price does not move any further. That's absorption. There are some passive sellers up here absorbing all of this buy order. And so what happens then? Price does not move up. And when price comes below that bubble, we know that these buyers have their stops somewhere down here. And as price hits those stops, we're going to get a little bit more of a push to the downside. That's going to cause other players to jump on short as well, and we can get a nice reversal off of that absorption signal. So as you can see here, everything that we use on our chart is agnostic to your bar size and your bar type, except for this 20 moving average that I have up here, which you can choose to use or not. I always like to see the 20. But these lines don't change because you want to use a 5-minute bar. Nothing on this chart, um, as far as the VWAP or the volume profile or the order flow bubbles, they don't change based on your bar size. What will change is your imbalances, but our imbalances are multi-time frame. So you can still continue to look at these 1-minute imbalances, even if you're using a 5-minute chart. And the other thing is that everything on this chart are things that the big boys care about. Institutional traders trade VWAP. Institutional traders trade volume profile, and institutional traders look at order flow. So you are using things that are inflection points where the bigger players are looking to place their trades. And we only care about those bigger players. Everything else is noise. And so why wouldn't we want to be looking at only what the bigger players are using? So anyways, that's it. This is a full trading system here. Um, and if you want this, if you're a VWAP trader already and you want this extra functionality, you can purchase it on its own and you can go your merry way. Or if you're somebody who has been struggling with every strategy that they trade, working one day and not working the next, you can come over and sign up at a very low price for our market regime framework, and you'll get to rent these indicators while you're with us. And you'll get some personal help if you need it by coming into our Discord. And that's about it. That is the system here. That's Doc's VWAP and Street Sweeper. And come on over and check us out. You can email me directly at doc@scalpershideout.com. You can go directly to our website and purchase the lifetime license for just these two tools if you're already a VWAP trader. And you can also sign up if you want access to our Discord and want to kind of learn a new methodology to help you stay on the right side of the market. So, hope you all are doing well. Thanks for spending the time to listen to this, and have a great day.